Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. We've got an incredibly great build today. From the great folks at Spray Gunner, I bring you the Createx Colors Candy 2.0 system. We've got a bunch of cars that we're going to do up today, and we're going to demonstrate the different colors and how they look on the metallic background that we're going to spray them over. So let's go ahead and get started. Grab yourself your favorite adult beverage, or if you don't drink, have a Coke or a coffee or a water or whatever, and sit back and enjoy today's build with the products available from Spray Gunner. Let's go ahead and get started with today's build. Here are the cars we're going to do today. We have a dozen 55 Bel Air gassers from HotWheels. We're going to strip these down and get them all ready to go ahead and spray on the Candy 2.0. Here's some of the different colors that we have. For example, here's red oxide. Here's Carib blue. And here's marine blue. Now, we're not going to get to all these colors today, but we are going to do some blends and some mixes with some of the colors just to show you some of the different results that you can achieve using the Candy 2.0 system. Now, the Candy 2.0 is just a dye. You have to mix it with a clear, such as this UVLS clear. This is 40/50 gloss. Now, they do have matte and satin, etc. Or you could use the 40/30 balancing clear. Any one of these base clear coats will work for using the Candy 2.0 system. Let's go ahead and go over a few of the products we're going to use today, and we're going to get started on the dozen cars that we're going to do using the Candy 2.0 system. One of the items we're going to use today is this compressor, the No Name brand compressor, available at Spray Gunner. Now this one here is the Tootie. What a fantastic compressor that we're going to use today. We're also going to use the Grex AIRBRUSH system. Now here I'm using the Tritium series. What a fantastic airbrush. We're going to use the American Icon Automotive Finish, the 2K clear system when the decals are put on the car to protect them. We're going to use the Createx color line. All of these products are available at Spray Gunner. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put down a base. Now, the base colors are available in many choices, so it's up to you which one you want to use. Here today, we're going to use the Silver Sealer, the Autoborn Silver Sealer. This is going to be our base coat before we put down any candy colors on the car. Here we've got the cars all stripped, and we've got them on the stands, all cleaned up and ready to go. Again, we're going to use the Tritium Series airbrush and the Tootie compressor from Spray Gunner. And it runs incredibly quiet, so it's a really good choice for your airbrush application systems. Here, the first color we're going to use is Tequila Yellow. Now, the mixing ratio recommended by Createx is 1:1. So 1 part of the Candy 2.0 paint, whatever you're using, and not paint, dye, and 1 part of the base coat, whichever one you're going to use. Now, Createx also recommends you use a 0.5 airbrush and use approximately 25 to 30 pounds of pressure. Now, when I do my paints, I use approximately 25 pounds of pressure, but a little bit more pressure is going to help. If you have an airbrush with a 0.3 needle system in it, then you may have to use some reducer in order to get that paint through the airbrush. So that's something we can definitely cover at a later time. Now, I use these little medicine cups to mix the paint up in. Now, this one here, I'll zoom in a little bit, is a nice smooth base. So that's really good for mixing up these paints. Now, the cups I was using before, was these cups, and it's got the little plastic tabs in the base to keep the cups from sticking together, okay? This is definitely going to be a problem because if you paint and you're mixing up this paint with a toothpick or a little stir stick or something, the other cup is nice and smooth, nothing to catch on. If you happen to use the other plastic cups with the little tabs, you're going to splash the paint all over you, and that's not a good thing. So if you have to, get the other cups without the little tabs in them. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. And this is how you mix up the paint with the Candy 2.0. We've got the 1-to-1 mixture. Now you could use a stick to mix it up, but I've got this little battery powered mixer that I use, and it gives it a little bit more of a thorough stir when you go to use these paints in your gun. Now these are available on my Amazon Marketplace page. Please check it out. The link is in the description. There's some good stuff there too. One of the first colors we're going to mix up is Grabber Orange. Here we've got the car, we've got the base coat mixed with the Candy 2.0, and we're going to give it a nice light coat. Now here we're spraying it over the silver sealer. Put light coats, you can always build up. If you spray too much of this, it's going to build up and it's going to run on you, and you're going to have to wind up doing it again. So put those nice mist coats on there, and let it dry completely before you spray the next layer on. When you take this outside and you see it in the sun or under a nice light, the metallic comes through and the finish is absolutely incredible. Let's move on. Next one we're going to mix up is Blood Red. We're going to go through on those dozen cars and we're going to do some solid colors, and we're going to do a mixture of some of the colors together just so you can see the different blends that you can achieve with the Candy 2.0 system. Again, put a nice light coat, let it dry, or use the air from your airbrush to dry it, and then if you have to go back in and spray some more, then please by all means do. Now just remember that the more coats you put on there, the darker your finish is going to be. It's like putting layers upon layers of different color over the top of each other, kind of like if you held up, and I used this expression before, a Jolly Rancher candy. If you have one candy, you can see through it red. If you put another candy on top of it, it gets darker, etc., etc. Now let's mix up some Carib Blue. This is short for Caribbean Blue. Now this is one of my favorite colors when it comes to spraying. Nice light coats. Also make sure your airbrush is nice and clean too. I had to stop in the middle of production here and go through and do a cleaning on my brush and found out that some of the colors were coagulated inside from a previous paint job. So make sure you got a nice clean brush to start with before you go in and start spraying these colors. This is just the start, but that looks really, really sweet. This is a really great system, and it's a great alternative if you're not using the colors from the Redline shop, the Spectre Flame paints, etc. This is just another option. Here we'll mix up some Poison Green. Beautiful colors. Now there's different shades of the blues, there's different shades of the green, there's different shades of red. I mean, like I said, it's up to your imagination as to what you mix and what you come up with. Nice light coats, like I keep saying.
I love how the moonlight shines over the mausoleum.
Here we've got Sunset Magenta. This color absolutely surprised me. This turned out absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to see some of the paint jobs you guys come up with when you do your cars also. This again is just going to give you different options when it comes to painting your die-cast cars. Now, if I didn't mention it in the past, one of the best things about this video, folks, is that all of these products that I'm using in the airbrushing today is available from Spray Gunner. This is a great website to get your products, Now some Tealicious. But again, all these products are available from Spray Gunner. This is the airbrushes, the compressors, the paints, the clear coat finish. Everything that you have associated with the airbrush is available from the folks at Spray Gunner. And we'll have more information on that at the end of the video. This teal color turned out beautiful also. It's a beautiful day out here in Florida, so I decided to open up the garage door and just spray it out the door. Man, I love this color. Absolutely stunning. And imagine what it's going to look like when we put the clear coat over the top. Now some Dirt Track Brown. The brown turns out absolutely amazing. Now later on, we're going to use some of the Candy 2.0 colors, and we're going to combine and fade some of the colors again, just to show you some of the different ways that you can use this in your die-cast hobby. I couldn't possibly spray all the colors from the Candy 2.0 system. There'd be too many. So get some, enjoy, mix them up. Here's Ultraviolet. This turns out absolutely beautiful also. Mix them up. And now you can also mix up the Candy 2.0 colors yourselves if you wanted to make an orange and you didn't have any. You mix up some of the tequila yellow with the blood red. You can make your own orange. Or you can spray the yellow and spray the red over the top of it. And, you know, like I said, you can get all kinds of sweet colors there. This violet tended to me to be a little bit on the more of a blue side, but I'm sure that if you sprayed it a little bit lighter or mixed more of the base coat with it, that it would definitely lighten it up. Because like I said, the more you spray onto it, the darker it's going to look, and that was probably from my heavy hand with the airbrush. Also mentioned that these Grex Tritium airbrushes, these are fantastic. Now it isn't like the trigger on top where you push down and pull back for air. This one here is a one finger system where you pull back for air, and then if you pull back a little farther, it's going to slowly let the paint out. Now for some of you that are having a hard time controlling the airbrush, the trigger type guns are something that you can definitely use to your advantage. Here we're spraying tequila yellow, and we're going to get a mixture on this one. This is going to be a lot of fun. Just keep putting on the light coats. Man, these colors are absolutely phenomenal too. Like I said, there are so many different colors that you can use in this Candy 2.0 system. Now that we got the yellow down and it's dried a little bit, we're going to mix the back half of the car. We're going to spray it with blood red. Now going over the yellow, this is going to produce an orange. So it's going to fade back from a yellow to an orange, and then if you spray it a little bit heavier on the back, not too soon, you'll be able to get that beautiful yellow, orange, red fade, and that car is going to look absolutely phenomenal. Man, that looks sweet. Look at that fade. Incredible. These are just a few of the results you can get with these paints, guys. And girls. Let's move on. Alright. Here we've got the silver base. And we're going to spray the back end with the Caribbean blue. And get a fade from silver to blue. And again, this is just the silver sealer. This one here was one of my favorites. I think I might make myself one of these and then paint it with maybe Tealicious. That'd be absolutely cool. That is looking, look at that. You know, and like I always say, folks, you guys can do this too. The worst part that happens is that you mess it up, you strip it down, and you do it again. but that looks really nice. Even if you hit the back end of this with a little bit of a darker blue, just to get a little bit more of a progression in the fade, that would be great. Man, that looks nice. Let's experiment with a few more colors here. Here we've got Grabber Orange. We're going to paint the entire car here with Grabber Orange, or at least the front 2/3. And then we're going to hit the back end with something really cool. Look how nice that looks. Let's let that dry a little bit, then we'll come back in with the next color. Sweet. Okay, here we're going to come in with the Dirt Track Brown. We're going to fade it from orange to a brown, and you're thinking, oh, I don't know, that's not going to look too good. But I'm telling you, it's going to look great. Experiment with different colors. Now, if you use complementary colors, or you're going to spray, say, yellow and purple. Once the purple and the yellow get together, you're going to get a really nasty color in between. So you got to be careful how you mix different colors. But who knows? Maybe you'll invent the next most beautiful car painted for the diecast community. Here we've got Tequila Yellow. Actually, we've got Poison Green. And we're spraying it with the dark green on the bottom. So the fade is actually going from the bottom to the top, not from the back to the front. That looks really nice. Now we're going to get ready to do the decals. Let's move on. Alright, here we've got the decals. These decals I designed, and I use the logos from Createx that they have on their products. Here we've got AIRBRUSH, we've got Chroma Air, we've got No Name. Of course we got the Spray Gunner logo, and then we have StartAirBrush.com. Now these decals were made up for me by Vince at Second Chance Redlines. So check out what Vince has at www.scredlines.com. He's got a bunch of amazing products also. Now one of the things you'll notice here is some of the decals look a little bit better on some colors than they do on other colors. So be careful what you decide to put on. You may have to have some type of a white base, which these ones do, but maybe a little bit more of a white outline. Now, I recommend that you clear coat the cars before you put the decals on. I did not do that in this case, and it did work out okay, but you have to remember that these paints that you're putting on are a water-based system, and if you go to use your microset or water or something like that, the colors are going to come off on your Q-tips, and you're liable to produce bare spots in your paint job. So I recommend that you put a clear coat on your cars before you put the decals on. Now we'll put a decal on the trunk lid. I also could have gone in and filed down the little flashings on the trunk to make it look a little bit better, but that's something for a future project. Of course, the darker the colors, you want to make sure that you've got some kind of a white base when you go to put these colors on. This one here, the corner was folding up underneath, so we had to straighten that out. Here I got it laid down, so that turned out good. Go ahead and squeegee out your excess water or fluid that you're using. Now we're going to put the decals on the sides. If your decals were laid out properly, you should be able to get the entire side of the car without having to put a bunch of little pieces on there. Unless that's all you have, and there's nothing wrong with that. This just makes it that much easier. Now when you go to design your decals, and if you send them to Vince at Second Chance Redlines, he'll let you know exactly how you need to have the measurements. Now I do have a video out on how to apply decals, and it shows you exactly what measurements you need to take and what pictures you have to have in order to send them to Vince at Second Chance Redlines. That way there, your decals will come out right the first time. Man, that looks absolutely nice. Squeegee out your excess fluid. Super sweet. Once you get it set where you want, go ahead and leave it, because if you keep messing with it, you're going to screw it up and you're going to say some curse words. Let's get the last side done. I'm having an awful lot of fun with this project. Now, this is something that I wanted to do for Spray Gunner for a long time. And again, I'm using only products available from Spray Gunner. Now, I'm not talking about the decals or the wheels I'm going to put on the car, etc. I'm talking about the paints. I'm talking about the clear coat that you put over the top of it. I'm talking about the airbrush, and I'm talking about the compressor I use. Everything you have, you can definitely find at Spray Gunner to suit your airbrush needs. Now keep looking back and forth on both sides of the car to make sure that the decals are in the exact same place as on the opposite side of the car. You don't want it to look lopsided. That looks really sweet. Very, very nice. Later on, we went in and detailed the headlights, the signal lights, the tail lights, etc. And there's all the cars painted. We're going to put decals on every single one of them. Then we're going to put them all together. Now here's some of the cars I did. Here's the tequila yellow to grabber orange fade. Actually, it's blood red, but it gives it an orange tint because of the yellow underneath. That turned out great. Let's put them all together, and then we'll show you exactly what we did. Again, this is my favorite one here, the silver to the Caribbean blue fade. I love this car. I'm going to hate giving it up because I'm sending all these cars to Spray Gunner for their folks. And here's the finished product. We put those beautiful Samed wheels on there, and they're fantastic. There's the teal car. Sunset magenta. Here's the brown to orange fade. Here's the yellow to orange fade. Here's the green to poison green fade. Man, these turned out so nice. Here's the violet. Now, like I said, I can't wait to see the cars that you guys do with this Candy 2.0 system. Here's the dirt track brown. Here's the blood red. Now, if you want it a little darker, you just put more coats on. Here's the blue, the Caribbean blue. That looks fantastic. And here's the grabber orange. Man, these cars turned out beautiful. Now, I went in and I made some custom cards to put these on. Spraygunner.com, the painter's arsenal. I autographed the cards. That looks great. There's the certificate of authenticity. Had a lot of fun with these. There's the silver blue car. Like I said, I hate giving this up because it turned out great. And again, with those beautiful Samed wheels. We sprayed them down with the American Icon Automotive Finishes 2K Clear Coat. Check out the folks at spraygunner.com. They've got a complete line of airbrushes for all your airbrush needs. They've got a really cool line of compressors to include their wonderful no-name compressors. They've got airbrush paints from Createx, which is an incredibly great brand. They've got their in-house brand called Chroma Air. I love these paints. Airbrush kits from Grex and No Name and many other manufacturers. Spend less, get more at spraygunner.com. Here we've got the website AIRBRUSH.art. This is something started by Spray Gunner to put the artist in contact with folks for their services and products. We also got StartAirbrush.com. If you're a beginner and you've got questions about starting to airbrush, check out StartAirbrush.com. Thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. We've got a lot more videos coming up in the future, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thank you again for joining me here today. If there's something you'd like to see, put it in the comments. Thank you, and cheers.